Ladies and gentlemen, the concept of 1M65 is now mainstream. Everybody heard of it. I don't think they're disbeliever in it. But some of you might have heard of this concept for 4M65. Sounds so far-fetched, so elusive. 4 million by 65. So how to achieve it using a CPF? You know what? Today, someone actually is achieving it. So please watch on to know the secret. So today's talk is on CPF 4M65, 4 million by 65 years old. And I'm going to show you that someone actually has achieved it. It's a real case study, and this time it's not me. I know a lot of people like to think that Mr. Loo always like to talk about himself. No, this is not about me. This is about someone that actually done it. And I really want to share this with you so as to encourage you to emulate his footsteps. So as usual, the things he has done, these are investments. These are usual disclaimers. More importantly, I'm going to be introducing this concept that my PowerPoint decks will soon be made available, including this one, to all my YouTube subscribers who would like this video and subscribe to my 1M65 YouTube channel. And I'll make it available in a 1M65 Telegram group. So please remember to follow that one as well. So when I first shared this concept of 4M65 in 2020, that was in February, there were a lot of people who were shocked by it. Already 1M65 was somewhat a possibly elusive concept. The concept of 4M65 is just too far-fetched, okay? And 4 million by 65 years old, everybody will want to achieve it, but how many people can actually do it? So it was then, to me and to many people, just a theoretical concept, including myself, because I've mapped out the strategy on paper. I haven't reached 65 years old. Then I'm not 65 years old now. I've got a good runway of 13 or 14 years to go. But I share it in hope that people would actually believe that this is a possible strategy to adopt. Guess what? Today, we actually have people achieving it. And this is a very, very selfless couple that have came out and shared this concept with everyone. Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Theo. Okay, Mr. Patrick Theo, you are a great inspiration all of us. Mr. Patrick Theo is a financial educator, very inspirational in the social media space, and he shared regularly about his investment journey and his strategy. And in one of his latest postings, he shared with us how he has achieved some phenomenal number with CPF. And I really want everybody to share it. I approached him after I see it. I asked him for permission to share some of his numbers and his chart, which he readily agreed. I have interviewed him and he kindly replied all my questions, and it was a great inspiration. I want to share all these learnings to everybody so that we too can achieve 4M65 and beyond. Mr. and Mrs. Theo are powerful dividend accumulators. Their year-to-date passive income breakdown is as follow, okay? And it's 100 over $1,000, and including some interest that's earned from T-bills with OA funds, okay? And the collective amount is some frightening 100 over $1,000. That's just half a year. And this is their CPF wealth right now. And that's an amazing number. This is taken from a screenshot of their CPF statement. I suppose this is Mr. Theo himself. This is his wife. I'm just guessing, okay? This 600 over 1,000 for Mr. Theo, and Mrs. Theo is about 600 over 1,000 as well. But why is it not 4M yet? That's because they put a lot of money into the government T-bills, right? And they break up so much of the T-bills such that, cumulatively, the husband have 2 million and the wife have 1.7 million. It's a grand total of 3.75 million. Someone will say, but Mr. Loo, they're not 4M yet. Yeah, in a few months they will be, okay? And I'll talk about that in a short while. Just by rounding up, they will accumulate beyond 4 million by 65. So because they haven't reached 65 years old yet. So that's an amazing number, right? I would just want to share everybody that these are real case studies, someone actually achieving it. So as I interviewed him, I asked him, so Mr. Theo, would you mind if you share with us what is your secret, right? And the best part, he said, no, there's no secret to this, right? Growing CPF is neither mysterious or quick. No, it's really no secret, but he's happy to share some of his kung fu with us. So the first secret is just to make sure that you maximize your contribution annually. The maximum you can accumulate a year is 30,770, and just maximize that annually and let the amount compound a long period of time. And we have said it many before, the OA, the SA, and MA accumulates at some big numbers. The ordinary account accumulates at 2.5%, the SA accumulates at 4%, and the MA also accumulates at 4%. These are very significant numbers, Don't look at these small little numbers and say that, no, it's just 4%. What's the big deal? S&P 500 give you some big numbers and things like that. Look at them, there's just some big numbers that's accumulated over small percentages. So the CPF is a special, unique wealth creation scheme. They are built to encourage consistent and reward contribution and allow a steady and compounding interest. So the more you contribute annually, okay, the more, and leave it to compound, the scheme will reward you, right? It goes in an exponential graph like this. The second secret that Patrick shared with us is that don't owe the CPF any money. A lot of people like to take our CPF out and spend it on housing, spend it on condos, spend it on, medical and whatever, right? And everybody tend to see it that way. So did Mr. and Mrs. Theo. They actually saw that it was a savings that couldn't get access to. It was only when they reached 50 years old, they start to appreciate its benefit. In early years, they tried emptying their ordinary account by investing into property. Then they realized that the property will need to accumulate beyond 2.5% annually. Some of you actually said, wow, I know property will make big money. Well, the property growth rate, you'll be happy if you hit 3.5 or 4%. So that was what they realized, that, that the property accumulation rate need to appreciate more than 2.5% annually just to cover accrued interest, property tax, maintenance, sinking fund, repair, agent fee, blah, 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 blah. Everybody only look at those headline numbers without counting the cost, right? So Mr. Patrick Theo and realized that, actually wiser not to owe CPF money, because you take money out, you got, you owe tang, you owe the CPF actually money. So what did he do? So at 50 years old, they start to refund back the money they used to owe the CPF. And it took them a few years before they could fully refund all the money back to the ordinary account. And therefore, the now CPF have to work harder to give the 2.5% compound annually. At 55 years old, a lot of people like to withdraw as much money as possible, especially those amount above the FRS. So now they don't do that. Okay, they don't do it and let it inside to continue to compound. The third secret is to be gainfully employed so that your employer can help you contribute your CPF. Right now, if you work, there's a limit, right? If your salary up to $6,000, about 37% will go to CPF. That's about 20% that comes from you and 70% comes to employer. So your employer help you contribute. So the longer you work, the more your employer help you contribute, right? That's better than your single effort. And there is the higher salary you make, assuming you make about 100,002 a year, which is the upper limit of salary annually, then 17% will come from your employer to the contribution. And it is a very, very significant sum when you accumulate over a long period of time. So he fully appreciates this point, so that he's helping his wife top up CPF as well. Since Mrs. Teo retirement, there's no benefit of the employer contribution. So he helped the wife contribute as well. So this part of it, accumulate ferociously. So the third secret is to make sure stay employed and stop thinking about retiring early. The bonus secret that Mr. Teo actually shared with me was that the creation of the retirement account is a chance to beef up one person's retirement nest egg in CPF. Remember, when we saw his CPF is about 3.8 million so far, okay? So there's still a gap of about 200,000, right? Guess what? The government just released a news that you can actually top up your retirement account by about $100,000 more if you have maxed out, to your ERS. So you can now have 4 times the BRS. And I think he's going to do that, and for him and his wife as well. So this would top up the other extra $200,000 to make the CPF wealth a total of $4 million. And that's not counting their continued work and 2 more years of wealth accumulation. So for those who are 55 years old, don't see the retirement as something not very nice, okay? Well, the government continue to guarantee you an annual interest of 4 to 6% compound, and help to manage your CPF life payout as long as you live. So I quote him, we treat this retirement account as an important source of our retirement income, and thus our desire to maximize contribution of it. So this is something that I would like to take a chapter at as well to emulate, right? So let's all try to accumulate as much CPF as possible, so that when we hit 55 years old, we got enough money to stack up our retirement account to the fullest, so that we can tap a lot of CPF life earnings. So some special CPF advice from Mr. Theo is number one, in our financial planning, don't neglect your CPF. A lot of us in Singapore are fanatical about property, right? We have got property experts, we have property advisors, we have got property investors going out to the whole world flaunting how much they have made and things like that. Well, good for you. I would just want to say this, Mr. Patrick Theo is somewhat more mainstream and less radical from my path of using CPF, where I advise myself that I'll accumulate extra boost with S&P 500, right? He didn't even do that. He just accumulate mainstream and he hit 4M65, right? So don't neglect CPF in your financial planning. Treat this as an important component in your overall portfolio, and you appreciate this pillar in the following three scenarios that he painted. The first scenario is when the stock market crash and the economy crash and investment portfolio just shrivel up, having a solid CPF foundation, serve as a very strong emotional stabilizer. And that is very true. I've experienced that. It is not unthinkable that your S&P 500, your NASDAQ, your dividend stock, your blue chip stock, and even your banking stock can crash significantly. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ has crashed 50, 60, even 70, 80% before in the history. And when that happens, you feel terrible. Fortunately, with your CPF as a firm foundation, serve as a very strong emotional stabilizer. You know that even if all those things vaporize, you still have your firm foundation of CPF there, and that's a very strong emotional stabilizer for yourself. The second scenario is that even if you go bankrupt, the creditors cannot come looking for an asset in your CPF. They cannot touch your CPF, and that's very, very strong. So for those people who are self-employed especially, don't ignore your CPF. Those people who are property agents, insurance agents, Grab drivers, taxi drivers, self-employed in any way, the CPF will serve as a powerful financial pillar for you, even when you go bankrupt. The third is the CPF is government guaranteed. When you're old and retired, you will look forward to regular and steady income that is invariant of the market and economic condition. So there will be turbulent. I've seen that again and again. There'll be ups and downs. There'll be market crashes, right? And when you are old and you're retired, don't even think of those who are very old. Even now, me in 50-ish years old, I start to think of what if scenario. Maybe I should start thinking about having some stability in my income. The CPF is a powerful source of income, especially a CPF Life. Don't underestimate it. So clearly, Mr. Patrick Theo is no longer looking at 4M65, right? He's looking at 4M63 or 64 years old. I don't exactly know their pinpoint age, so please pardon me. But clearly, they are looking at something that can hit in a matter of months. This is also made possible because they have capitalized on the powerful T-bills yield that has came recently because of the high interest rate that help them grow their OA funds. And also, they plan to take advantage of topping up their retirement account to the new ERS that will help them hit their 4M65 by Jan 2025. And I would like to really applaud, Mr. Patrick Theo and his wife. That's an amazing feat. You have set the bar so high. I've looked at it, did my own calculations. Even if I hit 4M63 when I reach 63 years old, it's a far cry from what you achieve, because by the time I reach 63 years old, a 4M is less than the value of yours because of inflation. So what you have done is truly amazing, and we salute you. And we also want to say, we want to emulate you and do well as well. So the moral story is this, I know a lot of people think that, oh, wow, CPF is no longer good and whatsoever, blah, 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 run it down, only say property is good, banking stock is good, DBS, OCBC, UOB is good and nothing else. You know what? Your CPF is still a powerful wealth accumulator. Don't look down on it. Harness it, harness it from young, as much as you can, make sure your children understand it and start compounding from a very young age. You can still become very, very rich with it, okay? So someone will say that, Mr. Loo, 1M65 is not enough. 4M65, trust me, it's jiabai liao, You can't finish it for the rest of your life when you hit 65 years old. So really treat this strategy with a lot of respect. You will do well in it. So if you want to hear more from Mr. Patrick Theo, he writes very regularly, almost on a daily basis. This is his YouTube channel at CPF_3. I subscribe to it and I read his wisdom every day. And it's a truly inspiring one. Please join his channel. And thanks for watching this. Remember, this PowerPoint deck will be made available in my 1965 Telegram channel. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit a like for this video, and I'll see you in a day or two. Bye-bye.